take on the Tony Ellis tune called Stephen, and I'm playing it on a cello banjo. So I like the nice, rich sound of this banjo. We'll go through this together, and I'll use a regular banjo because I know most of you will probably be playing on a regular banjo. But I wanted you to hear the sound of this one. I just got this thing a little while back, and I really have fallen in love with the sound of it. So let's take a look at this together. Right now my banjo is in standard G tuning. We want to go into a double C tuning for this song, where the fourth string is going to be dropped from a D down to a C, a whole step, and the second string, B, is going to be raised a half step up to C. So the tuning will be, starting with the fifth string, G, C, G, C, D. So that's called a double C. It could be called C modal because there's no 3 in that. There's no E in it. C, D, E would be the third note of the C scale. So it's neither major nor minor because the 3's not there. We do have a D in it, which is a ninth, or you might call it a sus2. So it's kind of a nice tuning. Here's a quick way to get into this double C tuning. You know you want this fourth string to be a C. It's at a D now. So fret your second string at the first fret. The second string is a B, so fretting at the first fret, it's a C. So you're going to match that sound of that C an octave lower on your fourth string. So you get the sound of that C. So that's got to be pretty close. You can check that with an electronic tuner. And in the same way, your second string wants to come up a half a step from a B to a C. So I fretted at the first fret again just to hear the sound of that C. Whoops. I changed the first string, so I'm going to double check that. Nice sounding modal sound for double C tuning. Alright, so for those of you who downloaded the tab, I wanted to point out a couple of things. There are 2 pages of tab. On the top of the first page you'll notice I have form, and this is the form that Tony Ellis typically plays this song in. There's an A part, there's a B part, and there's a B1 part. So he'll play through the A part twice, play the B part, go back and play the A part twice again, play the B1 part, back to the A part twice, B part, back to the A part twice again, and then end it out with a nice ending. I'm just going to go through each part one time for sake of time, and then you can work out an arrangement that you like. So that's the form. Another thing to point out here is you'll notice below the tab I have square brackets around the count for the melody and the phrasing. I think if you can hear the phrasing in this song, then the rest of the notes are just filler notes. But they want to bring out the melody and the phrasing. And so that's why those square brackets. In fact, on my copy I've highlighted each of the melody notes with a little yellow highlight so it stands out to me. And I've also raised the rest of the count up just a little bit to get it out of the way. It's there, and those are filler notes that have got to be played, but you want to play the melody. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And the third thing I wanted to point out is in certain places I've indicated with a little arrow above the tab, like in measure 9, measure 13, 17, and so forth. The phrasing, because in part B, in part B1, there's a pickup, 3, 4, 1. So it's beats 3 and 4 of that measure leads you into the next phrase. Okay, so let's take a look at this 3 different parts and look at the phrasing here. Notice the first part. That's the main phrase. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1. So we hit the open 4th string and then slide from 2 to 4. Hit that 3rd string with your thumb, open 3rd string with thumb, and open 2nd string. That's the main phrase really of the entire song. So the count would be 1, and you got 2 and of course in there, but I'm just going to sing the count part. 1, 3 and 4, 1. And the rest of it we're going to fill in. So this would be with it filled in. So this other filler, which finishes out measure 2, we hit the open 1st string and then hammer on the 2nd fret, 5th string, then 2nd string, 1st string, and back to 2nd string. So that completes the first phrase, measures 1 and 2. Measures 3 and 4 have the next phrase, very similar. In fact, the melody is the same, except we're going to add in just a little something different in measure 4. So we're making this chord by fretting the 1st string at the 3rd fret, 3rd string at the 2nd fret. So that's a reverse roll. And then we get into measure 5. Here the melody may be just slightly different. I have one note, I think. This is the way I think I'm hearing Tony play this. Bum, 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 bum. Instead of just bum, 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 bum. I'm hearing. Okay, so playing measure 5 and 6. And keep that chord right where it is. 3rd fret of 1st string. You could use your ring finger or pinky, either one. I tend to fall on my pinky, I guess, there. 3rd fret of 1st string and 2nd fret of 3rd string. Because after you do this, you're going to go da 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 da. Again, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 is the count. That's measures 7 and 8. And then we fill in the last 2 beats there of measure 8, which leads us back to the beginning. So that first part. Which brings us right back to measure 1. Now, if we always did this, we'd never get out of that first part. So that's the first ending. So we go to the second ending, which is measure 9. A little bit simpler. We're going to break out of that sound so we can get into part B. So we got this. And so we simply hit the 5th string. Now we can start walking in measure 9 up the 1st string. Okay, so what's that? 2nd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, and then fret the 2nd string at the 5th fret. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, and 2. And you'll notice I've highlighted again the phrasing. Here's your pick of 3, 4, which is going to happen in part B and part B1. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, and 2. So that will be the melody. And this part 2 is filler. And then measure 13. So we're walking up the first string, open, second, third. So that's 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1. So instead of going, we go in measure 16. And so that's the same, measure 17 through measure 20. And now we're going to walk from first string, 5th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret. So right at the very end there, we're going to have the 9th fret and then the 10th fret. 5, 7, 10. So that last little part, I actually didn't tab it out. I just heard it just now, just thought of it just now. But this part where I just went, well, I'm hearing da 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 da. You're used to hearing this. Well, this is just an octave higher. So I'm walking right down the second string from the 9th fret. 7th, slide from 3 to 4, and then do the bass run, which we did at the beginning. And I like to end this with fretting or hammering on first string, 2nd fret, because you know this is a pretty chord, and you could end the song like that. But I like that little resolution. Because this is the 2, you call that a sus2, that's a D, that's a 2 of the C chord. So for a sus2 or a 9, you're going to resolve that down to the tonic or up to the 3. Well, you can't resolve it down to the tonic because that's an open string, right? It doesn't go any lower, so I'm resolving that up to the 3. Alright, so that's Tony Ellis' tune called Stephen. It's not exactly the way you'll see it tabbed out in his songbook, but the recording that I have of his is not exactly as it's in the songbook either. So I think you can take some liberties with it.